Beautiful. Thanks, Anita. Angry taco. How's that for a flavour? Pretty keen to try those. Well, thanks for joining me on another episode as we explore the great state of Queensland. My weekend this time entails a beautiful little farm stay just outside of Kingaroy. So I'm taking the opportunity to get some well-needed road trip snacks from this place, the Peanut Van, a bit of an institution in these parts. They've been dishing out salty and sweet nibbles since the late 1960s. And Anita here's been telling me that the peanut harvest was hit hard by some hot weather last summer, but there's still plenty on sale here still. You know, it's agriculture of a totally different kind. It'll be the focus of my day on the land, so make sure you join me later in the show. Coming up, Stratty's Indigenous culture.
You're supposed to catch it with your hands, not your bum.
Surf's up.
One of the best spots to learn how to surf in Queensland.
And a bird's eye view of the Gold Coast if you have the ticket for it.
My cameraman's just suggested it's better television if I cry. I'm crying on the inside and laughing on the outside. This is fantastic.
Let's get started with Sammy.
One thing Queensland's famous for is its beautiful stretch of coastline, with surfers crowding the east coast to catch the perfect wave. And let me tell you, if you're a beginner like me, this is the perfect place to start.
The crew at Go Ride a Wave have been teaching beginners how to surf since the 80s. My lesson today is at one of Australia's most iconic surf spots, Noosa. Peter Fiddler co-owns the surf school. And if you're thinking he has a familiar face, it's probably from his alias in the 80s as the Solo Man.
Pete, how many solo cans do you reckon you've drunk in your life?
Quite a few. All the school kids who used to come down for lessons would say, oh, there he is, that's the Solo Man. And they all wanted me to have a drink and they wanted to get photos while I was having a drink. And I had to drink a lot of cans at that stage too.
I bet you did.
He may not slam down the solo cans like he used to, but 30 years on, the surf school still attracts plenty wanting to learn.
It's just one of those things that everybody wants to have a go at. The Australian people think they need to have a go at because it's an Australian thing to do, but the international people will want to have a go at it too because when they're in Australia, they've got to do the Australian thing.
How do you think I'm going to go today?
I think you'll probably stand up in the first couple of waves, actually.
Yes. I was hoping you'd say that.
So let's have a lie down on our boards.
Jamo is a national medalist in surf lifesaving and our instructor today.
Rise all the way up to standing. Not too bad.
Easy.
You're going to wobble, all right? That does not mean you have to jump off.
All sounds pretty straightforward. Surf's up.
This should be easy, right?
Most people think that it's going to be hard. When they think about surfing, they're thinking of deep water and big waves. But Noosa Beach here, it's a very sheltered beach, small waves, nice and easy conditions for everyone to get started. The water's warm. You couldn't ask for anywhere better to learn, really.
That was awesome, Jamer. How do you reckon it went?
I reckon you absolutely nailed it. First wave on your feet. Too easy.
That was fun. It was easier than I thought it was going to be.
That's the goal of it, really. That's why you get a lesson.
Thanks.
No worries.
I definitely think I've earned my lunch. The Noosa Surf Club fills up with hungry beachgoers all year round. If learning to surf is on your bucket list, then book yourself a lesson with Go Ride a Wave. They offer 2-hour surf lessons at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. daily.
Well, how's this to end the day? A bucket of prawns and that view. Oh, cheers to that.
After the break, an insight into the history and culture of Minjerribah. Lots of stories to be told. Beautiful. Long before North Stradbroke Island was given its name by British explorer Captain Henry Rouse in the early 1800s, it was known as Minjerribah. The Quandamooka people have a 20,000-year connection to Stratty, and visitors to the island are invited to share in their Indigenous culture. New Knuckle man Matthew Burns has a knack for storytelling that brings Aboriginal history and ancient practices to life.
We're known as Quandamooka people, so Quandamooka is actually the bay that we live in.
He's based at Dunwich and offers hour-long lessons, working his way along what's called the Gympie Trail.
The way I'm playing is using 2 different vibrations. So if I go, you get. If I tighten my lip, you hear the difference in that?
Guests have the chance to get hands-on as they're shown survival skills.
You need patience, persistence.
No, just more strength and power. So make sure you got your big fire ready. And there's our fire.
Matty, what made you decide to get started on the tours?
I just wanted to share our culture with the wider community. I've always loved history, you know, any sort of history, but I've got my own history here, which is the oldest history in the world.
Down on the shore, we're shown something very special. A midden's a term we hear a lot, isn't it? Explain it to me.
Yep, so a midden is basically a rubbish stump that's left behind by the old people, but also in that you'll find tools. This is a fairly old one, said to be around 10,000 years old, this particular site.
Matt, this is obviously quite an important site. Is it okay that we're here having a look, wandering through?
Yeah, quite welcome to come and have a look, but all this is protected now, so that means you can't take any rock or shell or anything from this area.
As part of our tour, Matt explains how macaranga trees provided weapons and first aid, how the cotton tree was used for clothing, and how boomerangs were used to hunt the island's parrots, ducks and flying foxes.
So we just step forward and throw.
Whoa! Oh!
Yeah, that's how we roll.
I think there's a fair chance I'm not going to be able to replicate what you just
come
did.
on.
You wouldn't want to rely on throwing skills to feed the tribe. If it's thrown too straight, it will cut the wind. Too flat, the wind will send it straight up. And even if it's thrown well, it can sometimes come back to bite you on the backside.
Now panic. Watch yourself. You're supposed to catch it with your hands, not your bum.
Well, it was very accurate.
Time to step out of the danger zone and meet another Indigenous local. Dunwich artist Delvine Cockatoo Collins expresses her culture through art. At Handmade on Minjerribah, she tells contemporary stories of life on the island. In your work, you can see so many aspects of the island.
There is. The whales are going past right now, so that particular drawing tells the story of when Mum and I went out to watch Migaloo.
Delvine's beautiful prints on textiles and paper incorporate weave and sand patterns to create works that are sometimes functional and sometimes purely decorative. She works with a modern eye, but with a respect for tradition. The weaving technique she and her mother use was passed down from an elderly auntie.
This is the freshwater reed called yunge, and it's only found in a few places on the island. And you remove the reed very carefully to make sure that you leave the root system so that it can regrow quickly.
Delvine's other talent is in working with clay.
This is local clay that my brother has collected for me.
Lucky brother, thank you.
Yes. I've collected clays from different parts of Quandamooka country and just testing the colours and the firing properties of it. So I will be printing on the stained papers.
There's so much talent in the Aboriginal community on Straddie. If you're curious about its connections to the land, then on your next visit be sure to book a tour along the Gympie Trail with Matt. And while you're in Dunwich, pop into Delvine's Made on Minjerribah studio in Stradbroke Place. Stradbroke Ferries has vehicle ferries and a water taxi that operate to and from the island on a regular basis. Right now is a great time to visit North Stradbroke Island with the Quandamooka Festival in full swing. The 3-month event continues through to September, showcasing the Redlands and Moreton Bay Islands. It's a unique opportunity for visitors to learn about the Quandamooka people and culture. For more information on daily activities, where to stay and how to get there, head over to the festival website.
Coming up after the break, we meet the man who brings Queensland photographs back to life. And the only way is up on the Gold Coast.
We're at Sky Point on the top of Q1 and wow, what a view.
My name's Colin Sheehan. I restore old photographs and sell them here at Yamundi Markets on the Sunshine Coast. The restoration of old photographs is intriguing because you get to see a little bit of history and things that have gone by, and if they can be revived, it adds a lot of interest. Yeah, it's a photograph taken from on the hill at Noosa. This is the Hastings Street area and Main Beach. It's 1930, so it's very, very early days. It's just a very laid-back little fishing village come quiet holiday town. It can be fairly simple. Fade is not real difficult, but it can be water damage, it can be physical damage. The kids have got to a photo and scrunched it up or cut it or tore it or something like that. As far as the satisfaction of restoring some very heavily damaged photographs, that's good in itself. It does take a lot of work. I feel like I was going blind sometimes, picking away at them, but you eventually get there. You get the enjoyment out of seeing the pleasure that people get from making that connection. They're finding something that will definitely connect with their friend, family. I get a lot of people coming in now, particularly younger ones whose parents, grandparents, etc. were in the First or Second War, and that's part of their personal history. I had an occasion once, I had a photograph of a Panzer tank in North Africa here, and this big tall old gentleman come along and handed it to me to buy it, and he said, "I used to drive this one." So I said, "Right, you come here, mate," and just wanted to talk to him because he was a Panzer tank driver. They make good gifts for people because they're memory triggers.
It was Sir Edmund Hillary who said, "We don't conquer the mountain, we conquer ourselves." And I can already feel a very healthy dose of fear welling up inside me because I'm about to scale one of the tallest buildings in the country, not from the inside, but from the outside. The payoff, you may ask? Well, apparently it's a magnificent view.
The Q1 Sky Point climb is Australia's highest, over 80 stories.
Perfect fit. Look at that. Okay, I'm ready. Bring it on.
It's not for the faint-hearted, and preparation is key.
And now we're going to get this yellow strap up over your shoulders here.
Oh, careful.
Pete is our guide today. He's also a movie stuntman, so safety is his #1 priority.
Your traveller is connected to you with 2 safeties, each of which can hold 2.2 tonnes. Now that's your 4-wheel drive. So together, that's almost 4.5 tonnes of safety holding you to the building.
I like this man. He's taking his job very seriously. And the good news is we get teleported to the top. This lift travels in under 43 seconds to get us up 77 floors.
Once we're at the observation deck, the climb begins.
I've been told it's a bit like avoiding seasickness. You look at the horizon. I will look down eventually. But so far so good. I feel very secure, very secure.
The climb to the summit involves 298 stairs, and along the way there are a few spots where you can step out over the edge.
Here I go. Oh, I can only go so far, which is a very good thing. That's done. Next. Nothing to see here.
As we climb, Pete has plenty of good commentary to complement the amazing views.
At 322.5 metres at the top, the Q1 was the world's tallest residential tower for about a year.
And who outdid us?
Well, when I started in January 2012, we were 25th tallest building in the world. By the time I'd finished my training, 3 months later, we were 65th.
The most exciting part of the climb for many is the lean back. For the rest of us, it's the moment when we truly confront our fears.
Something I haven't told you is it's my birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
There you go. And the older I get, the bolder I become. What do you like so much about it? What is it about being up here?
I've always liked to be high, but it's
You know, people could take that the wrong way.
I've always liked to be
elevated
above the ground. It is A, an amazing way to see the Gold Coast, to put everything that you've done while you're here into perspective and see where it all is. It is the kind of experience that you don't get to do too many places around the world. And let's face it, we all love being places we're not supposed to be.
There's no doubt about it. I've never seen the Gold Coast quite like this. In fact, from up here, you can even see Brisbane CBD. What an incredible experience. Jump onto the SkyPoint Climb website to see the range of walks they offer. Prices start at $54. After such a high-flying adventure, how do you ground yourself? Well, the SkyPoint Observation Level and Cafe 77 has everything you would possibly need. And I'm told that Friday and Saturday nights, it's the place to be and be seen and catch some of the Gold Coast's up-and-coming musos. So cheers. Here's to a fantastic day.
This is us, Minmore Farm Stay. Stay with us on Queensland Weekender. We'll take a look at the property after the break. We're here. Well, where are we? Well, I'll give you a bit of perspective. Kingaroy, about 30 minutes that way. And if you drive 45 minutes that way, you'll hit the base of the beautiful Bunya Mountains. Let's go meet everyone. Ahoy! Hello! I've booked a night at Minmore Farm Stay in the district of Wattle Grove. Graham and Deanne Wilson's cattle property has been in the family for more than a century. If the walls of this lovely homestead could talk, they'd tell a story of 4 generations who have worked this land.
This is Graham's grandmother here, and these are her children, all her children. And
how many children has she got?
She had about 11.
The Wilsons love company, and it's been 23 years since they first opened their gates to guests.
We've always had people here, farm staff, so people still, relatives and friends have always been here, so it's just wonderful to include people that we haven't met before.
What are you offering people here, do you think?
Well, strangely enough, a lot of people from the city have never been into the bush. So once they get to know that we, exist, they can't believe the peace and quiet.
Yeah. A wander around the yard with Graham is almost a living history. Who built this? It's amazing.
My father did.
And these were old stables, were they, as well?
This was stables, and now it's just a junk shed, really.
I hear these stories of working on a property, and it just seems to redefine my idea of hard work.
I suppose it's hard, but it can be very rewarding work.
How so?
Well, you can see something for what you've been doing.
And grandson Tom is seeing the place at its best. He's returned to work the property after a few years in the big smoke. So how big is Minmore?
Minmore's 15,000 acres, where we are here, and
it's a big patch of land.
Oh yeah, it is. Try walking home when you've got a busted tyre in the vehicle.
What sort of breed of cattle are these, mate?
Well, they're a Hereford-based breed, and we've got Santa Gertrudis bulls over the top of them, so basically British breed over Indian sort of breed.
They're a good-looking cow.
Oh, they are.
Not a sentence I say often. My station tour takes me to one of the family's favourite picnic spots. It's a bit of a drive, but the appeal is its remoteness.
You've got that thing where you've got no phone reception.
Yeah, perfect.
You can't talk to anyone but amongst yourselves. Yeah.
And I just find myself just looking out at that, and I can just keep staring at it. It's beautiful. Not a traffic light in sight. It's unreal.
That's right.
Still, there are plenty of creature comforts on Minmore. Guests get the run of a 2-bedroom, self-contained cottage that's warm and cosy in the winter and allows for a through breeze in the summer. Or they can take a room in the main house and settle down beside the fire. Is that wood-fired?
It's a wood fire.
Have you seen one of these before? That is amazing. Why do you persevere with this?
Well, sometimes I wonder myself, but as you can see, it's now winter time and the kitchen's warm. And when we come out in the morning, himself here brings me in a cup of tea in bed. I come out and the kitchen's all nice and warm. So I don't complain about it too much.
Minmore Farmstay Bed and Breakfast is outside Kingaroy, and guests couldn't be made to feel more welcome. If you're interested, then Diane takes phone bookings. For more weekend inspiration, you can check out our new look website. You can also keep up with our travels on Facebook and Instagram. Queensland.com and the Queensland Rail Travel websites are also worth a look. Hey Wilson family, thank you so much for having me on your beautiful property. It's been amazing. And thank you for having me in your homes for another episode of Queensland Weekender. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I certainly hope we see you out in this area very, very soon. It really is something special. We'll see you next week.